What's up everybody, Kinetic here, and welcome back to Lost Ark. Over the past 2 days now, watching several hours now of live streaming for Lost Ark, I have got so much information now that I've been taking down in notes and trying to compile into information that I can deliver to you guys, and this is the first of many of those videos. This is going to be kind of a quick overview, if you will, and which just barely scratches the surface of what I've seen and what is available just in this closed beta test. First off, we're going to take a look and see that there's actually a really nice character creation system for the 4 different main classes and the 7 total classes available here in the closed beta test. Once you're done completing, customizing, naming your character and stuff like that, you'll be thrown into your unique base class starting area. Each class has their own solo story area that kind of introduces them to what their kind of class and starting story is about. Also, of course, getting to know how to perform skills and various actions here in the game. And then you'll reach a certain point pretty soon, not long after making your character, where you'll get to choose a specialization or advanced class for your main class. Now, keep in mind that in this closed beta, there's limited to only 4 different main classes, and most have only 2 of the 3 that will be available advanced classes that you can choose from later down the line. So right now, for example, even though there's supposed to be 3, for the gunner, he'll only be able to select right now the Devil Hunter or the Blaster class as his advanced specialization. But this little demo area is actually quite cool. It's a kind of special little arena area private to you where you can summon enemies and test out each of the different specializations before you make your choice, because this is a permanent choice. I don't think we get to ever go back and re-choose a different specialization. This is a serious commitment, so that's why they're giving you the chance to test it out. Once you do test it out, then you'll be thrown out into the more populated world of Lost Ark, right? You'll get to finally then see other characters running around in the world, and they'll start to explore doing quests and side activities and dungeons and things like that. And so this is where the real open world of Lost Ark begins. From here, players can form parties and do quests, or they can continue to solo if they like. Experience is primarily gained from story missions, some from doing side quests, but almost no experience gained by simply killing enemies. So it seems that the fastest way to level up, at least currently right now, is to combine, for example, your main story quests and also getting access to and doing dungeons. Speaking of dungeons, there's some interesting notes that I've made here. First, there is no Holy Trinity system in Lost Ark. You can enter into dungeons with whatever party composition you like or whatever's convenient for you at the time. There's also no looking for group tool like worldwide, so if you want to enter into the dungeon, then you have to go to the entrance area, and then from there it seems that certain types of dungeons will have like a kind of queue up system where you can allow yourself to be matched with other people, and then you'll enter into the dungeon, or simply just choose from some of the other people that are likely waiting outside like you are right at the entrance of the dungeon to go on and go ahead inside. Before going inside, you can also select the difficulty. So far I've seen 2 different difficulties. There's a normal and then there's a hard mode. As far as how hard is in these dungeons, the first dungeon really is not going to be hard at all. You could pretty much face roll up until, say, the final boss of that first dungeon, which is fine, right? It's only the first dungeon, but I did see that the dungeons definitely do get significantly harder. For example, the one towards level 30, the King's Tomb, was very challenging, especially towards the end of it. That one you cannot face roll. As far as loot goes, there's really not much anything to be found along the way. You can't kill trash mobs and get lots of loot. You won't find anything really, it seems, until you've at least taken down a boss, if there's multiple bosses, or having completed the dungeon entirely is when you'll get your loot. The loot is not tradable. Well, actually, nothing is tradable at this time in this closed beta test, but they are going to have trading of some kind in a future beta test. Apparently in data mined information they found that there is already a feature that allows players maybe to trade one-on-one with each other, but I have definitely seen that there is an auction house building, an auction house room at least, that is available in the game. It just wasn't active at the time. Outside of dungeons and questing, you will also unlock your life skills and life levels, which is separate from your combat levels. Life levels are tied to many gathering activities, for example mining, fishing, and woodcutting, and just like your combat levels, the more levels you gain, you earn skill points, and then you can kind of specialize in certain areas. For example, maybe you want to be really proficient at mining, and so you can unlock unique mining skills like the mining bomb that we've seen in the previous trailers. If you like dynamic world events, then keep your eyes open for the Chaos Gate. Chaos Gates are open world raids that randomly spawn around different locations and at different times. Up to 30 players can enter into a portal, and within the portal there's a special single room dungeon where you can fight enemies and perform actions to close the Chaos Gate to stop enemies from coming into your realm. And this is a pretty intense challenge that also has a neat competitive aspect to it also. You are ranked in points for your participation in kills and also deactivating towers that empower the Chaos Gate. Once enough progress has been made in the Chaos Gate, a very powerful boss will spawn that needs to be taken down in order to successfully complete the event. This is also a timed event as well, in which you must do all of this stuff within 15 minutes or fail, and the first 2 times that I saw people try to do this, they completely failed at it. So this is not an easy event by any means, that's for sure. There's a lot of fun stuff like this to keep you entertained on your way to the level 30 cap. Keep in mind that 30 is just the cap for this beta and not for the full game. And really that almost seems like that's when the game really starts. It's like finishing the first chapter of a book, or when the Fellowship finally forms up to become the Fellowship of the Ring in The Lord of the Rings, right? That's really when the journey only seems to have just begun, right? And that's kind of the feeling that I get here in Lost Ark as well. At 30, you'll unlock new activities, and you'll reach a very important step in the Lost Ark story. I'm not going to give any spoilers to this, but let's just say it's really, really epic, and it was very shocking to learn the true nature of the Lost Ark itself. Aside from the main story revelations, you also get access to a couple of new game modes, which, again, we've only got a few of the game modes that will be available. Only 3 of the total 8 dungeons are currently in the beta, and there's only 7 of however many there's going to be raids available in Lost Ark. For example, there's also the Infinity Tower, which is a 50-floor solo survival mode type of dungeon that tests your skills. This is really, really intense stuff where you do not have access to potions, and is really going to push you to see how well you know your class, how much you've learned along the way to getting to level 30. You get a reward from completing each floor. At certain intervals, you'll face off against a really powerful boss, and if you fail, and you probably will fairly early on it seems, don't worry, you won't need to start from level 1 again. If you got up to level 4, then that's where you can continue from, which I find that to be a really nice part of this Infinity Tower climb. But one of the most anticipated features that you'll get access to once you get to level 30 is the PvP Coliseum, where you can queue up for free-for-all and 3v3 death matches. Each round in these PvP Coliseum matches lasts for 300 seconds, where you battle for the highest kill count by the end of the timer. If you get KO'd, you simply respawn after a few seconds and continue until the timer finishes. It's pretty simple, but it's also really exciting to watch, no doubt even more fun to play, I'm sure. We're only 2 days now into this beta, and there's still so much more for me to see, so much for me to talk to you guys about, and again, this isn't even the full game that has been given us to test out for this beta. There are many more levels, more areas, more dungeons, mini games, the life professions or life skills, if you will, more raids, there's the adventure mode, and of course, many more classes to be released in the future beta tests. And that pretty much wraps up this preview of what's happened so far in the closed beta for Lost Ark. There's just so much awesome information that's coming out, and we'll try to break this down a little bit more slowly and a little bit more depth in future videos for you guys, because no doubt there's so much more to come for us to realize the potential here in the closed beta testing. Now, I know, again, this is something that people probably want to hear answered again and again. When is this game coming out over to the West? Honestly, I can only guesstimate, because of course they're focusing on primarily preparing their release for Korea. They are getting ready to also release servers over into China, and at some point people are guessing somewhere around maybe late 2017, early 2018 or something like that. They have shown a lot of interest, and we will more than likely get release dates for North America and Europe around that time. Of course, I want this game to come out tomorrow, but I'm just being real about this. It's probably gonna be a while before we get access to this game, but of course you guys can definitely expect more content from Lost Ark right here on my channel.